Jack adjusted the strap on his rifle and exhaled. A high-paying gig, they said. Routine bodyguard work, they said. Nobody mentioned the part where he'd be babysitting an alien noblewoman with a horse fetish. Zalara's estate loomed ahead, ornate towers, shimmering banners, and the faint smell of expensive nonsense. He hated jobs like these. Nothing ever exploded. The door slid open, revealing Zalara. And okay, she was gorgeous. Long dark hair, golden eyes, skin like polished obsidian, and curves wrapped in layers of silk that barely concealed the sinister amount of thigh happening. "Ah, my guardian has arrived," she purred, examining him like a prize. "They said you were the finest human warrior. I hope you do not disappoint." Jack shrugged. "Long as I get paid, lady." She smirked, motioning for him to follow. "Come! You must meet Bloodfawn." His first mistake? Assuming Bloodfawn was a person. Jack followed her through a vast courtyard until he saw the creature. His entire body went cold. It was massive, a nightmare hybrid of dragon, warhorse, and something that probably ate its siblings in the womb. 6 legs, jet black scales, molten red eyes, and teeth that suggested it had opinions about eating humans. Bloodfawn stared right at him. Jack slowly reached for his gun. "Don't be rude," Zalara chided, slapping his hand away. "He likes you." Jack narrowed his eyes. "Lady, I don't think likes me is the right fuck." Bloodfawn huffed. Jack swore he felt the heat right between his legs. Zalara clasped her hands together, giddy. "Oh, this is wonderful! He has chosen you." Jack blinked. "He what?" She beamed. "Bloodfawn sees you as his mate." Silence. Jack did a slow, painful mental rewind. "The F asterisk 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 did you just say?" Zalara tilted her head, as if confused by his confusion. "In my culture, stallions choose their riders based on deep, primal affection. He has decided you belong to him." Jack took a step back. Bloodfawn took a step forward. "Nope," Jack said, hands up. "I don't do interspecies romance. And I definitely don't F asterisk 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 ing date horses." Zalara pouted. "Oh, don't be dramatic." Bloodfawn snorted, lowering his massive head. Jack stared. "Did that F asterisk 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 ing thing just purr?" Zalara nodded, delighted. Jack turned to run. Bloodfawn lunged. Jack's second mistake? Assuming the massive murder horse wasn't also fast as hell. A blur of scales and muscle, and suddenly Jack was pinned. Jack gasped. Bloodfang's enormous snout was inches from his face. The beast exhaled. Warm, deep, possessive. Zalara clapped excitedly. Jack, meanwhile, was having a full-scale existential crisis. This is fine," he whispered. "This is totally fine." Bloodfawn nuzzled against his chest. Jack froze. "Get it off," Zalara giggled. "You must let him court you properly." Jack saw red. "Court me. You must understand," she said, way too calm about this nightmare. "Bloodfawn is very selective. He must see something truly magnificent in you." Jack shoved at the solid wall of muscle pressing against him. Didn't budge. Didn't even F asterisk ing flinch. He sighed, defeated. "Listen, I don't know what kind of alien rom-com I've stumbled into, but I'm not marrying your pet." Zalara pouted. "That's so cruel. He's pouring his heart out to you." Bloodfawn let out a low, guttural rumble. Jack did not like how much it sounded like a goddamn moan. "Oh, hell no." Zalara clasped her hands together. "This is going to be such a wonderful bonding experience." Jack clenched his jaw. "Lady, I will literally throw myself into F asterisk ing traffic." Zalara sighed dramatically. "Fine. We will ease you into the arrangement. Bloodfang licked Jack's cheek. Jack just lay there, dying inside. The next morning, Jack attempted an escape. Spoiler, it did not *ing work. Guards tackled his ass the moment he tried to sneak out. Zalara gasped in horror. Jack, are you rejecting Bloodfang? Jack, face buried in the dirt, let out a muffled, rage-filled groan. Zalara looked heartbroken. The guards looked furious. And Bloodfang? He looked betrayed. Jack groaned harder. My life. By midday, *ing intervention was staged. Jack sat on an ornate couch, Zalara and her entire staff staring at him like a goddamn criminal. Bloodfang stood nearby, staring, unblinking. Zalara spoke first. Jack, we need to discuss your commitment issues. Jack rubbed his temples. I am not dating a goddamn horse. Zalara sighed. You're being stubborn. Jack pointed at Bloodfang. It's *ing monster. Bloodfang let out a deep, heartbroken sigh. Zalara folded her arms. You wound him. Jack turned to the nearest guard. Am I the crazy one here? The guard coughed awkwardly. Bloodfang is a fine mate. Jack screamed internally. Zalara knelt beside him. I understand you're nervous. Perhaps you need to ease into it? Jack stared. I need a **ing drink. She smiled. We have bonding oils. Jack blinked. I hate that sentence. Zalara gestured, and a servant brought forth a tray. Jack gagged. Tiny vials. Shimmering blue liquid. Something thick and iridescent. Nope. Jack shot up. I'm out. Zalara sighed. You're being ridiculous. Jack jabbed a finger at Bloodfang. That thing is big enough to fold me in half. Zalara smirked. Some would consider that a thrilling challenge. Jack let out a strangled gasp. Did you just? Bloodfang huffed warmly. Jack sat back down. Defeated? I am never getting out of this alive, he muttered. Zalara beamed. I'll have your quarters arranged immediately. Bloodfang nudged him affectionately. Jack just stared at the ceiling. This is my personal hell. Jack spent the next few days devising increasingly desperate escape plans, each one failing in spectacular fashion. The guards were relentless, the estate was locked down, and worst of all, Bloodfang had developed a disturbing habit of tracking his every movement. Every time Jack tried to slip away, the massive beast would be waiting. The worst incident happened when Jack attempted to climb over the east wall at dawn. He made it halfway up before feeling a hot breath on his back. Slowly, he turned his head. Bloodfang stood right there, staring. Jack lost his grip and fell straight into the monster's waiting arms. That's when he realized the truth. Bloodfang wasn't just following him. He was actively cock-blocking his escape. Zalara found the whole situation hilarious. Jack, you're making this far harder than it needs to be, she teased over dinner, delicately slicing into some expensive alien dish, while Jack just glared at her over his untouched plate. I don't want to **ing date your dragon horse, Jack gritted out. Zalara gave him a pitying look. You're being close-minded. He is strong, loyal, and deeply affectionate. What more could you want? Jack took a slow sip of his drink, mostly to stop himself from flipping the entire goddamn table. I dunno, lady. Maybe something that doesn't have hooves. Bloodfang, who was very much present at the dinner table, because of course he was, let out a long, wounded sigh. Jack froze. Oh no, Zalara gasped. Jack, you hurt his feelings. Jack threw up his hands. I am not responsible for his emotional baggage. Bloodfang whimpered. Jack screamed internally. That night, Jack barricaded his bedroom door with everything in sight. He shoved furniture, stacked crates, and even wedged a heavy metal beam across the entrance. Didn't matter, because around midnight, Jack was awakened by a low rumbling purr. He cracked open an eye. Bloodfawn was in the room. Jack shot upright, heart in his throat. What the F***? The barricade was still intact. The window was locked. There was no logical way Bloodfawn should have gotten inside. Jack pointed a shaking finger. How the F*** did you get in here? Bloodfawn rumbled affectionately. Jack grabbed the nearest object, a pillow, and chucked it at the monster's smug face. Get out! Bloodfawn did not get out. Instead, he settled down beside Jack's bed, curling up like an oversized guard dog. Jack dragged a hand down his face. This is my nightmare. Morning came, and Jack awoke to something warm and horrifyingly close. His first groggy thought? Zalara smells different today. His second, more alert thought? That is not Zalara. He bolted upright. Bloodfawn was lying half on the bed. Jack threw himself off said bed immediately. No! No, we are not doing this. Bloodfawn just let out a deep, contented sigh. Jack stormed into breakfast looking like he'd just survived war. Zalara sipped her tea, looking way too amused. You seem well rested, she noted. Jack grabbed the nearest roll and violently bit into it. Your ing lizard tried to cuddle me, she hummed. That means he's truly accepted you. Jack choked on his roll. That is not the ing when you think it is. Zalara leaned in, golden eyes gleaming with obnoxious amusement. Perhaps you should embrace it. A powerful bond like this doesn't happen often. Jack stabbed his fork into his plate. Lady, I swear to God, I will ing riot. Bloodfawn nudged his thigh. Jack screamed inside his head. By afternoon, Jack found himself cornered again, this time by a group of Zalara's attendants who were very invested in his relationship progress. They draped silks over him. They applied oils. They whispered things Jack was sure were deeply inappropriate. Zalara lounged nearby, looking absolutely delighted. You must present yourself properly, she mused, watching as one of the attendants tied an intricate sash around Jack's waist. Jack scowled. I am a goddamn mercenary. Zalara smiled. Now you are a goddamn suitor. Jack mentally reviewed every life choice that had led him here. One of the attendants adjusted his tunic. This color brings out your eyes. Jack considered throwing himself out a window. The ceremony took place in an ornate courtyard, attended by an alarming number of Zalara's people, all of whom seemed way too invested in this disaster. Jack stood stiffly, dressed like some kind of space prince. Bloodfawn stood across from him, looking entirely too pleased. Zalara grinned. Now, the formal vows. Jack cut her off immediately. No, we are not doing vows. Bloodfawn huffed in disappointment. Jack jabbed a finger at him. Stop that. Zalara sighed dramatically. At least accept his token. Jack crossed his arms. What token? Bloodfawn turned his enormous head. A nearby attendant handed him something. Jack squinted. It was a bracelet. A thick, intricately woven bracelet. Made of what Jack realized, far too late, was Bloodfang's own scales. The crowd collectively sighed in adoration. Jack's eye twitched. You have got to be kidding me. Bloodfawn stepped closer, nudging the bracelet toward him. Jack glanced around. Every single pair of alien eyes was watching him. Zalara leaned in, smirking. If you refuse, it will be the greatest insult. Jack clenched his jaw so hard it nearly cracked. He exhaled slowly, prayed for patience, and snatched the bracelet. The crowd erupted into cheers. Jack shoved it onto his wrist with all the enthusiasm of someone putting on a tracking device. Bloodfawn rumbled happily. Jack muttered under his breath, "I hate my life." Zalara clapped her hands. "Oh, this is wonderful! Now, to seal the bond you must." Jack held up a hand. "No. Just no." Zalara pouted. "But Bloodfawn has been so patient." Jack rubbed his temples. "If I say yes to literally anything else, will you drop this?" Zalara tapped her chin, considering. "Anything?" Jack hesitated. "Within reason." Zalara beamed. "Wonderful! Then you shall join us for the evening banquet, seated beside Bloodfawn, of course." Jack narrowed his eyes. "And that's it? No weird rituals? No consummation bullshit?" Zalara winked. "Just dinner." Jack exhaled. "Fine. Dinner." Bloodfawn nuzzled him. Jack gritted his teeth. "You are not winning, you oversized bastard." Bloodfawn huffed smug. Zalara laughed. Jack had never felt more doomed in his entire life. Jack sat stiffly at the banquet table, wedged between Zalara and the looming menace that was Bloodfawn. The beast had been granted a seat, a reinforced platform of alien metal, because apparently this entire civilization was hellbent on indulging its nonsense. Jack shoveled food into his mouth like a man on a mission. If he finished fast, maybe he could slip away before anyone tried to declare their eternal love again. Bloodfawn, however, had other plans. Every few bites, Jack felt a hot breath on his neck. He ignored it. Then came the nudge. A firm, insistent pressure against his side. Jack froze mid-chew. "I swear to God." Bloodfawn nudged him again. Zalara giggled into her wine. "He likes to be hand-fed." Jack stared. "I will literally saw my own arm off before I spoon-feed your ****ing monster." Bloodfawn whimpered. Jack clenched his jaw. "No. No, you're not doing this guilt trip bullshit. You are not a delicate ****ing flower. You've got fangs the size of my forearm." Zalara sighed dramatically. "He just wants to feel cherished, Jack. You understand that, don't you?" Jack stabbed his fork into his plate. "Lady, the only thing I understand is that I am in hell." Bloodfawn let out a soft, pleading huff. Jack sat there, fighting every survival instinct that screamed "do not engage." Then, very slowly, deliberately, he picked up a piece of meat and held it out. Bloodfawn snatched it from his fingers in an instant. Jack barely had time to process his horrible mistake before Zalara clapped her hands. "Oh, that means he accepts you as his provider." Jack blinked. "I'm sorry. His what?" Zalara grinned. "You're bonded now." Jack stared at her. Then at Bloodfawn, who was looking way too smug for a goddamn horse lizard. Then back at Zalara. He shoved his entire drink into his mouth. The rest of the banquet passed in a dazed blur. People talked, laughed, cheered at Jack's misfortune. Bloodfawn nuzzled him no fewer than 12 times. By the time the evening wrapped up, Jack was mentally drafting his will. But the real nightmare began when Zalara led him toward the private quarters. Jack dug his heels in immediately. "No. Absolutely ****ing not. I sleep alone." Zalara pouted. "But tradition states." Jack threw up a hand. "I do not care what tradition states." Zalara hummed, tapping her chin. "Perhaps a compromise?" Jack narrowed his eyes. "Go on." Zalara smiled sweetly. "You share a space, but separate beds." Jack eyed her suspiciously. "How separate?" Zalara beamed. "You'll see." Jack hated everything about that response. Minutes later, he found himself staring at a massive, luxurious suite. And in that suite were 2 beds. Sort of. Because one bed was an opulent, sprawling nest of silks and cushions. The other? A glorified dog bed. Jack's eye twitched. Are you serious? Zalara gestured graciously. We prepared something comfortable just for you. Jack exhaled slowly, counted to 10, and turned to leave. F*** this. I'm sleeping on the goddamn floor. Bloodfawn huffed. Jack froze. He turned back just in time to see the massive bastard stomping toward the human-sized bed. Jack ran. No. No, that is not your bed. Bloodfawn flopped down with a satisfied sigh. Jack stared. He looked at Zalara. She shrugged. He's just ensuring your comfort. Jack squeezed his eyes shut. Breathed through the rage. You know what? Fine. It's fine. I'll just sleep. Bloodfawn lifted his head. Jack backtracked immediately. No. I am not sleeping in your goddamn cuddle pile. Bloodfawn rumbled in amusement. Jack pointed. I will drop kick you. Bloodfawn did not seem threatened. Zalara, watching from the doorway, giggled behind her hand. Sleep well, Jack. Jack shot her the dirtiest glare imaginable. She just winked. Jack let out a slow, pained sigh and laid down as far from Bloodfawn as possible. The night passed in increments of terror. Every time Jack stirred, something warm and heavy draped over him. By the third time, he accepted his fate. Morning arrived with a soft, satisfied growl. Jack awoke to an enormous, scaly leg draped over his torso. He did not scream. He simply stared at the ceiling, dead inside. Bloodfawn snuggled closer. Jack exhaled. I hate my life. Zalara entered moments later, looking way too delighted. Oh, how sweet, she cooed. Jack shot her the flattest look imaginable. I will kill you. She smiled. You say that, but I think you're adjusting. Jack stared at her. Then at Bloodfawn. Then at his absolute lack of personal space. He made a calculated decision. I'm leaving, he announced. Zalara tilted her head. Where will you go? Jack sat up. Anywhere but here. Bloodfawn whimpered. Jack ignored it. Zalara sighed. I suppose I can't keep you against your will. Jack perked up. Really? She smiled. Too sweetly. Of course. You're free to go. No hard feelings. Jack did not trust that tone. At all. But he still grabbed his things and marched toward the exit. Bloodfawn followed. Jack paused. No. You stay here. Bloodfawn rumbled, low and stubborn. Jack groaned. Listen, buddy. You and I? Not a thing. Never a thing. Okay? Bloodfawn blinked slowly. Jack sighed. F*** ing hell. I'm talking to a horse dragon. Zalara stepped forward. Jack, perhaps consider. Jack held up a hand. Nope. We're done. I'm out. Zalara gave him a knowing smile. All right. If that's truly what you want. Jack nodded, confident. It is. Zalara's smile widened. Then farewell, Jack. Jack exhaled in relief. He turned. He took 2 steps toward freedom. And that's when he saw it. The dozens of guards. The waiting transport. And the huge, glowing banner above the exit that read, Congratulations to the newly bonded pair. Wish them luck. Jack froze. Zalara beamed. Oh, did I forget to mention? Bloodfawn is a prized noble beast. The bond ceremony was legally binding. Jack slowly turned. Excuse me? Zalara's smile was lethal. You belong to him now. Jack stared. Bloodfawn licked his face. Jack screamed internally. Jack sat on the edge of the transport, arms crossed, staring into the vast, unfamiliar landscape. Bloodfawn sat beside him, massive and smug, tail flicking lazily. Jack hadn't spoken since the so-called bonding revelation, choosing instead to stew in his own rage. Zalara leaned casually against the rail. "You're taking this well." Jack turned his head just enough to glare. "Oh yeah. This is great. I love being enslaved to a giant murder lizard against my will." Bloodfawn rumbled, nudging Jack's shoulder with his snout. Jack shoved him off. "Don't." Zalara grinned. "You're still thinking of it as captivity. Try reframing it. You've been chosen. That's a great honor." Jack scoffed. "An honor would have involved consent." Zalara waved a hand dismissively. "Details." Jack closed his eyes, inhaled deeply, and counted to 10. It didn't help. Nothing helped. He was stuck with a beast he barely knew, in a culture that thought this was normal, and with no immediate means of escape. Bloodfawn leaned in again, resting his massive head on Jack's lap. Jack glared down at him. "You've got 10 seconds to move before I start pulling teeth." Bloodfawn sighed, but didn't move. Jack clenched his jaw. F********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************* came to a halt at the base of a sprawling fortress, Bloodfang's official domain. The place was all sharp edges, ancient carvings, and an unsettling number of decorative skulls. Jack surveyed it with dead eyes. Great. Love what you've done with the place. Very serial killer chic. Zalara grinned. I knew you'd appreciate the aesthetic. Jack didn't dignify that with a response. Bludfang stretched lazily before padding toward the entrance. The guards at the gate bowed deeply, speaking in a guttural tongue that Jack had zero interest in understanding. Zalara followed, motioning for Jack to keep up. He didn't move. Zalara sighed, turning back. Jack! Jack pointed at the fortress. I step inside. I'm never leaving, am I? Zalara tilted her head. Would that really be so bad? Jack barked a laugh. Yes. Zalara shrugged. Then don't think of it that way. Think of it as adapting to your new circumstances. Jack ran a hand down his face. That is literally what people say when someone gets imprisoned for life. Zalara smiled. Welcome home. Jack cursed under his breath and followed. Inside, the fortress was a mix of grandeur and menace. Towering stone pillars, intricate murals, and a suspicious number of trophy cases filled with claws, fangs, and weapons. Jack muttered, Yeah, this definitely isn't the home of a psychopath. Bludfang led them to an enormous chamber, easily a throne room. A raised platform loomed at the far end, lined with luxurious furs and cushions. Bludfang climbed onto it with the ease of a creature who absolutely knew he was in charge. Jack stared at the setup, then at Zalara. Zalara smirked. Go ahead. Take your place beside him. Jack crossed his arms. Not a chance. Bludfang rumbled in amusement, patting the space beside him with a massive claw. Jack's eye twitched. Zalara patted his shoulder. You'll adjust. Jack exhaled sharply. I swear to God, if I make it out of this, I'm putting a bounty on your head. Zalara laughed. You're adorable when you're mad. Jack clenched his fists. I'm always mad. Exactly. Jack turned his attention back to Bludfang, who was still watching him expectantly. The beast huffed, clearly waiting. Jack rolled his shoulders, weighing his options. Option 1. Sit beside the overgrown lizard and accept his fate. Option 2. Refuse and risk whatever cultural insult that entailed. Option 3. Start a violent rebellion and probably die. Jack exhaled slowly. Then, with all the enthusiasm of a man awaiting execution, he sat. Bludfang let out a pleased growl and immediately pulled Jack against his side. Jack did not react. Zalara beamed. See? Progress. Jack stared ahead, dead inside. I am actively plotting your murder. Zalara patted his arm. I'd be worried if you weren't. Jack sighed and let his head drop back. God, I need a drink. Bloodfawn licked his face. Jack flinched. I will shave you bald. Bloodfawn chucked, clearly unconcerned. Jack slumped further into his fate. F*********, IMG fantastic.